and welcome to this episode of Just Trying Dad. I have been so excited to do this, and in this second entry into the solo episodes of Just Trying Dad, I wanted to tackle mindfulness and the benefits of mindfulness. This was born out of, I really think this is the start of why I ended up doing a podcast, because it was born out of something I did for work, of all places. And for the last 2 years, I've kind of been thrown into the role of managing and helping people through mindfulness journey. And I've done a bunch of live, albeit Zoom, meditations and tips and tricks and all the things that I've kind of been able to help me better respond to situations and the benefits of mindfulness at work. And I figured, hey, might as well do it here as well. So that's essentially what this episode is about, is diving into mindfulness. What is mindfulness? The benefits of mindfulness and where you can find it for yourself. And we'll delve into a recorded meditation that kind of walks you through a 2 to 3 minute breathing, grounding, as well as just being present in the moment and gaining some peace and enlightenment through it. So let's dive in. So what is mindfulness? When I started out, I kind of really struggled to figure out exactly what mindfulness is. It just seemed like this higher level Zen, far out, far away thing that only hippies do. But in kind of practicing and thinking about it and developing my own practice of mindfulness, it's simply just being present in the moment. Mindfulness kind of encompasses two things: awareness and acceptance. So there's no special source to it. You have to be aware of what you're experiencing and be in the moment of that experience. Good or bad, big or small, grand or petite, you just have to be in that moment and enjoy it to the fullest. Or not enjoy it and realize why you don't enjoy it. And the acceptance piece is about observing, accepting, not judging, not pushing, not trying to pressure yourself or force a certain outcome, but just accepting. And in that mindfulness and in that practice, you're able to cultivate conscious efforts or mental practices that bring peace. And when you break it down in that simplistic way, you realize a lot of the things here are either within your control, or by virtue of accepting, awareness and accepting is usually enough. And I've been able to kind of, as for somebody who's goes through a lot and doesn't necessarily talk about a lot, I've been able to see the benefits within stress, anxiety, and any kind of trauma and pain. So it's just something that I live by, and I try to keep meditation, breathing techniques, or grounding. That's what mindfulness is in a nutshell. It helps with regulating emotion, which is just kind of bringing you to a point that you're not prone to impulses, you're not prone to anger. There's a lot of behavioral and self-management. You are responding and not reacting to situations that life throws at you. I love the fact that it helps with the managing of stress and anxiety. Some stress is good, but I recently learned about eustress. But not every stress is you need to be able to leave it behind. Anxiety is another thing that I suffer from, because I'm constantly thinking about the next move ahead, the next thing, the next issue, the next thing to solve, the next situation to get into. And sometimes you're in that constant race and constant chase and constant fire putting out and solving and worrying about this and that. There's a lot of wasted energy there, and you forget about the life that you live right now that is amazing. or not amazing, and why it isn't, and what you can do to pivot or switch. I like the improved focus and attention, and being able to kind of just mellow out and just be attentive to the people that matter and the situations that matter. My kids kind of have seen the difference, and they're like, "Why are you robot dad now?" And just kind of all zen and not trying to just rush us off every time. And it's just basically just being able to enjoy those moments because they're beautiful. I also like the increased compassion. I consider myself a empathetic individual and compassionate and kind and all the fun things. But I like the fact that it makes it even more, it brings it all together. Because now you begin to see patterns, you begin to see ways, you begin to see very thoughtful ways to help. And very thoughtful ways to impact lives and impact situations, and philanthropy becomes a big part, and volunteering becomes a big part, and you're doing it not because you're doing it to check a box, but you're doing it because you really feel deeply about being in those moments and being intentional about those situations. And one of the best things I have seen from mindfulness, and something that I still am working on, is sleep. And being able to really check out and let your body get the rest that it needs in the allotted time. Sleep as a parent is hard. Sleep as a parent with anxiety is hard. And sleep as a parent of young children who still co-sleep is hard. And so all those type of things, it's a lot better to be able to set that time, set those boundaries, set the mood, set the tone, and do partake in the sleep, and really shut off digital devices, shut off any kind of distractions. If possible, no TV in a bedroom and things like that. It definitely helps because you wake up more refreshed and the cycle continues. Emotions, stress and anxiety management, focus, compassion, sleep. But it's sleep being the anchor and being not great leads to detriments in all these other things that we mentioned. So it's always great to kind of have a good night rest and just start fresh in the morning. Now, a few ways to find mindfulness for yourself. I think the way I started was about, I want to say 7 years ago. I started using the Headspace app, and even before that, I'd gotten into meditation unsuccessfully, but it was just this thing where there was too many thoughts, and I think Headspace really dumbed it down and made it easy to understand like what you should and should not be doing, and what's okay. And I was really hard on myself when I first started solo practice, and any single intrusive thought, that was a failed meditation. Any single distraction, failed meditation. So with using Headspace and understanding to give myself grace and taking time and doing the daily meditation and the basic 1, the basic 2, basic 3, anxiety, fear of flying, cooking, all those type of meditations, and packing them on, you get to see that there's a recurring theme within meditation. You set the table, you quiet your mind, you breathe deeply, you breathe normally, you focus on your breathing, you do a body scan, if so advanced and so okay with, and you allow yourself to think, and then you shut off the thinking. Doing all this whilst still being grounded in the moment and still being grounded in the place where you're meditating helps. And taking it by step by step by step versus big chunks. And then I'm going to drain my mind and clear my mind and be at peace and zen and one with the universe. Yeah, that's a big chunk, and that's too much to do. But taking it small by small definitely helps, and taking it in manageable pieces. I want to say right now I am about 6,000 minutes meditated. I don't know how, what that breaks down to, but I keep track. And I am at the stage where I don't need any more prompts. Can go solo meditate for 10 minutes. Started out with 3, built up to 10. And sometimes, depending on your day, it's good to practice in the morning, preferably because it sets the tone. It's also good to practice, whenever you can, because at the end of the day, we're all different. We have different schedules. And sometimes you forget, quite frankly, in the morning. But it's good to just get into it because it helps with just resetting, refocusing, and getting you out there. So that's meditation as one way to find mindfulness. I find that mindful walks are really good for me in terms of just being able to take a jaunt around the neighborhood, walk in nature, walk by a stream, preferably a path less traveled, be it like not too many cars, not too many distractions, but if that's what you have, that's what you use. But just taking a walk in general, just getting that mind body moving, exercised, and that's perfect for anybody. Running if you're so inclined, exercise if you're so inclined. There is mindfulness there. There is some kind of happiness and contentness and awareness in those type of situations. And you could definitely find benefit there. It's interesting because I like mindful eating, and being able to eating healthy, I think, is a form of mindfulness in itself, because it is understanding, acknowledging what the issue is, understanding, acknowledging what you want out of your body and your life and how you want to be, and making a conscious choice to do a certain thing a certain way. So I definitely think eating healthy is a form of mindfulness, and you can go as far as calling it mindful eating. And I know we've talked about sleep, but sleep is paramount. But one thing that's also good with working individuals and professionals and students is taking breaks, stretches, walks, just a nice little micro break around from the task at hand and getting back to it later. But being able to take those breaks, take that time, replenish yourself, and then dive back in. My absolute favorite mindfulness exercise or task is yoga. And I know, hear me out here, I got into yoga, or got interested in yoga probably 15 years ago, when I heard some soccer players were using it to kind of extend their career, flexibility, longevity, fitness, and all. Depending on what type you do, there's different. It is something for everybody in the practice of yoga. And I want to say at this point in time, I'm still at the point of introductory, taking it easy, sun salutations, and things like that, and those kind of practices, light stretches. But it is so helpful to do, and it is so nice to be able to set up a space for either practice, for either meditation or yoga, and just be able to just dive into it and do the thing that you set out to do. So I'm super happy with those things and being able to do them. I'm sure that there's multiple things that you can do: painting, finding mindfulness in art. People have even been able to find mindfulness in cooking. Whatever works for you, that gets you out of your own head in fear and anxiety, and gets you into a creative space where you can channel that energy. I would say you can find mindfulness there. So this is the point where in my session we had at work we had a live yoga kind of procedure and practice, but that's kind of weird to do on a podcast. But the thing I can do here is I can do a recorded 3-minute meditation. So if you can, please bear with me and join me in this meditation session. So to start out, be seated upright. Good posture is important. Feet on the ground, hands and arms on your legs or your laps. And you take 2 deep breaths into the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. And on the second exhale, gently close your eyes. Bring your breath back to its normal rhythm. No need to breathe specially, just breathe. Your body knows how to breathe. Now, if you can, check in with yourself today. Check in with your body, check in with your head. Check in from your head to your toe. See if any part specifically hurts, or if you get any sensation from any part of your body. Now bring your focus back to the breath. See if you can notice where you feel it the most. Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your diaphragm? Do you feel it in your stomach? And if you're having trouble feeling it, just place your one hand above your stomach and breathe. Now, as we go through practice, it's okay if you get distracted in thoughts. It's okay if you get sidetracked. Just log it. Be aware. And bring your focus back to the breath. One more thing you can do to kind of keep the focus on the breath is to count to 10. And so 1 with the rise, 2 with the fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When you get to 10, you start again from 1. It's okay to miss your count or to count further more than 10, but once you notice it, start again from 1. Now in this moment, I would like you to let go of any focus. If your mind wants to think, let it think. If your mind wants to race, wander, be everywhere, let it do what it wants to do. Now bring your attention back to the body, back to your anchor points, your feet on the ground, your hands on your legs, your upright seating position. and focus on your breath. Now slowly open your eyes. Nod your head yes. Shake your head no. And do a stretch. How did that feel? How did the practice feel to you? It's all about consistency and trying and continuing to try, because on the other end of practice is where perfection lies. Thank you for listening to this episode of Just Trying Dad. I feel a little more calmer and aware and at peace. I hope you do too.
Please be sure to spread the word, tell a friend, and you can find us wherever podcasts can be found, on Spotify or Google Podcasts, and keep having the conversations, and we'll see you soon.